very special episode of KU News Extra where we give you a preview of the upcoming Guam is Good art, wine, and food extravaganza. There's so much to do right now. And in the previous segment, we of course saw some truly amazing food. And now we are going to talk with Jessica from Island Wines and Spirits about some of the many amazing wines. And Jessica, we have 8 right here, but there are many more than this.
Oh man, we're so excited. We're going to actually be featuring over 50 different wines from different vineyards. We have wines from different vineyards, from different regions. So we're going to present wines next week from Chile, from Argentina, from Napa Valley, from Spain, from France. So it's just going to be a great event to come to and try over 50 different wines from around the world.
Now, I'm sure the wine connoisseurs out there watching right now, they'd say, okay, well, you know, I've got somewhat of a distinctive palate and everything like that. What can people that really know wine expect to see, and how should they make their way as, you know, they try the different wines throughout the night?
I think for them, they'll have such a great time because in one night, they'll be able to taste 50 different varietals that we're featuring out there. So if they love Cabernets, we're going to feature, gosh, probably over a dozen different Cabernets. If they are looking for different varietals like a Malbec or a Carmenere, you know, we'll have those varietals out there, the ones that you don't typically know of, like instead of a Cab or Pinot or Merlot Chardonnay, we're going to be bringing out a lot of different varietals. So it'll be a nice time for them to come out and try different wines and maybe come up with new favorite wines that they like, that they want for their own wine cellars.
Now, of course, we want to get people involved with the art portion, of course, with the wine portion and the food portion. So let's go through some of these ones you have here right now, and then we'll talk about like what wines pair best with the foods that we'll have.
Great. Well, right here on this, the left side of me is we're looking at a bunch of wines from California. So we have 2 wines here from Napa Valley as well as wines just throughout California. This Fremont Abbey one is a beautiful wine. It's actually a boutique winery from the Majestic Fine Wines line, but beautiful winery. I actually had a privilege of touring this winery one year, and man, you go there and you just really, you understand the passion that goes into this bottle. A lot of times people look at it and they're like, oh wow, okay, it's a lot of grapes in a bottle. But when you work with the different winemakers, you really see that there's so much more that goes into this bottle. So this is going to be a beautiful wine. It's called Fremont Abbey Merlot that we'll be featuring there. And then we also have a brand called Silver Oak Mercelet. It's actually an unoaked Chardonnay, so this would be a nice brand also that we'll feature there.
And that's also an interesting bottle. I mean, that's kind of very untraditional, but like you said, I mean, the vintners that put these together, I mean, there's a lot of craftsmanship. There's also obviously a lot of love.
Oh yeah,
that goes
definitely.
Into this.
And you know,
it's an art.
It is, and I guess that's why it all comes together. Is, you know, it's just art in a different way. You know, you look at all these different bottles, and every one of them has their own signature, you know, against it. This one comes in this type of bottle, and you look at this one and it's not your typical label. You look at something like this and it's a spiral label, and this is an interesting one because it's actually the Francis Ford Coppola Director's Cut. It's actually a signature wine for them, but Francis Ford Coppola, most people know him for all his
The Godfather.
The Godfather, or his, you know, the way he directed different films. So he really just put his signature on it, and it's basically a film strip as a label of the bottle.
Everybody, should I say it? Dare I say it? You know, this is a wine that you can't refuse.
You can't. Yeah, actually, we're gonna.
That had to be said.
Yeah, it's nice because we're actually going to be pairing these wines with all the different chefs who come out and kind of present all their different foods at night. And this will be at the tuna station, and for them, they do a lot of nice full-bodied things. And this is a really nice complex wine that will really pair against the food that's being that night.
Okay, now I've got a question because, you know, like our good friend Chef Peter Duenas showed us what he's making. He's making like a very high-end hamburger steak. And if you've ever tried Pete's food, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So when you're talking about meat, which one of these wines here are some of the other ones you'll have on display? Which of those would go good with meat?
Well, this is probably, this is the one what we'll pair with the Mescla Station. It's actually a Stag Sleep Wine Cellar Hands of Time, and it's more of a full-bodied red. So, you know, when you're looking at different wines, you know, there's a lot of different ways to pair it, you know, and I guess the most simplest, easiest way to learn it is full-bodied with full-body foods, light-bodied with light-body foods. So, you know, a wine that's more robust would go well with something that's more robust when you're eating it like a steak or a sirloin or a prime rib. You know?
Now, that's a perfect transition because as we saw in the previous segment, our friends from Cup and Saucer, they have those wonderful macaroons that they make. I mean, signature dishes, you know, incredible desserts. That's something, it's very, very light, it's very, very airy. What kind of wine would you want to couple with that?
We're going to have a really fun station with that, you know. Ronnie comes out and does an array of different desserts, and so we kind of just wanted to match and pair her and complement that station right along it. So we actually are going to be creating a sweet wine station, you know, sweets for sweets. And this
Very
is
nice.
one of the sweet wines we're bringing out. It's actually called Chocolate Shop Strawberry. If you love chocolate covered strawberries,
And who among us
this
does
is
not?
it
Yeah.
in a bottle. Like, when we first tried this wine, it was just, how could that come out? Like, how could you have chocolate in a wine? And the wine just expresses that. So it's actually called Chocolate Shop Strawberry, and it really tastes like chocolate covered strawberries.
And again, the design of this bottle, I'm just thinking from an aesthetic standpoint, it looks almost very old world.
Yeah.
Like very, very European.
This is actually a wine from Washington. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, so a lot of these, like I said, these are California. We're going to go around the world, and we actually presented a wine from Washington, and that's where Chocolate Shop comes in. But, under the dessert station, we're probably featuring over a dozen different nice wines, from Rieslings to Moscatos to Late Harvest, to Zinfandels, and down to a Chocolate Shop Strawberry, as well as a Chocolate Shop Red wine.
Very
so when
impressive.
you pour the wine, it actually looks like you're drinking maybe a nice Cabernet or Merlot. And then when you taste it, you realize, wow, it's just so balanced, nice. And it tastes like a red wine, and then it hits you, and it's just basically chocolate. Notes of chocolate all over your palate. So that's the beauty about wines, is it's like we said, it's almost like an art form. There's different taste and characteristics to each of them. So it's art in a bottle.
And I like what you said, sweets for sweets.
Yeah, sweets for sweets.
Sweets for sweets. All right, everybody, you get wine and you get wordplay at the Guam is Good event, and that is coming up. But of course, we are raising money for a very, very good cause. So Jessica, thank you so much.
No, thank you. And we look forward to coming out there, and thank you for having us.
And you guys always put on an amazing production, and certainly this is going to be like some of your very best work. So we
Yes,
thank you very
we're
much.
excited. Thank you.
All right, everybody, please stay tuned. We are back with more right after this.